My adorable foxgirl wife begs for romantic walks. One stroll changed our love forever. The daily ritual. The afternoon sun painted golden streaks across the wooden beams of their cottage as Yuki pressed her face against the window, her 3 bushy tails swishing with barely contained excitement. Her amber eyes tracked the sun's descent, and the moment it touched the horizon, she whirled around with a bright smile that made Dante's heart skip. It's time, she chirped, her delicate hands already reaching for her favorite shawl, a soft cream fabric that complemented her silver-streaked auburn fur. The light is perfect, Dante. Please, can we go now? Dante looked up from the leather-bound journal he was crafting, ink still wet on the pages he'd been decorating with intricate borders. His wife's enthusiasm was infectious, as it was every single evening. 6 months of marriage, and Yuki's love for their sunset walks hadn't dimmed even a fraction. If anything, she seemed more eager each day. Let me just finish this corner, he said with a gentle smile, carefully completing the final flourish. Yuki bounced on her toes, her fox ears twitching impatiently atop her head. The way she clasped her hands together, those bright eyes pleading, made resistance impossible. You said that yesterday and we missed the best part of the sunset, she reminded him with an adorable pout, her tails drooping dramatically for effect. Dante chuckled and set down his brush, rising from his workbench. You're right, my love. I surrender. He offered his arm, and Yuki immediately latched onto it, practically vibrating with joy as she nuzzled against his shoulder. They stepped out into the warm evening air, and Yuki inhaled deeply, her whole body relaxing. The village around them hummed with the peaceful sounds of day's end, children being called home, shop shutters closing, neighbors exchanging pleasantries. But tonight, something felt different. Yuki's grip on his arm tightened slightly as she gazed toward the eastern hills. Not the meadow today, she said softly, her voice carrying an unusual note of certainty. There's somewhere else we need to go. The hidden path. Dante studied his wife's face, noting the faraway look in her amber eyes. Where do you want to go, Yuki? She hesitated, her ears flattening slightly against her head before perking up with renewed determination. I'm not entirely sure, but I feel something calling to me. This way. She tugged him gently toward a narrow path between 2 ancient oak trees at the village edge, a route overgrown with wild roses and honeysuckle that neither had noticed before. The moment they stepped onto the trail, the world seemed to shift. The sounds of the village faded, replaced by a profound silence broken only by their footsteps and the whisper of leaves. Luminescent mushrooms began appearing along the path's edge, casting a soft blue glow that grew stronger as twilight deepened. Yuki, have you been here before? Dante asked, marveling at how the vegetation seemed to part naturally before them, creating an archway of twisted branches overhead. No, but... She paused, pressing her free hand to her chest. It feels like coming home to a place I've never been. Does that sound strange? Dante squeezed her hand reassuringly. Nothing about you is strange. Everything about you is wonderful. Her tails swished with pleasure at his words, but he noticed they were trembling too. After 20 minutes of walking, the path opened into a garden so breathtaking that both stopped in their tracks. Flowers of every conceivable color carpeted the ground, but these blooms pulsed with inner light, breathing in rhythm like living hearts. Silver willows draped over a small stream that sang as it flowed, and the air itself seemed thick with magic. Yuki's breathing quickened. Dante, there's something I need to tell you. Her voice wavered, and when she looked up at him, her eyes were bright with unshed tears. Something I should have shared before we married, but I was afraid. He turned to face her fully, taking both her hands in his. Whatever it is, I'm here. I'm listening. The garden's response. Yuki's tails curled around herself protectively, a gesture Dante had learned meant she was vulnerable and seeking comfort. He stepped closer, wrapping his arms around her slender frame, feeling the rapid beat of her heart against his chest. I'm not just any fox spirit, she whispered into his shoulder. My bloodline, we're guardians, ancient protectors of sacred places like this garden. My grandmother was one, and her mother before her, stretching back centuries. I'm the last of our line, Dante, and with that comes responsibilities I never told you about. She pulled back to search his face, her amber eyes wide with worry. These places, forgotten sanctuaries hidden from the world. They need someone to remember them, to keep their magic alive. I feel them calling to me in my dreams. I'm bound to answer, to protect them, and I was terrified you'd see me as a burden, that you'd regret choosing someone whose life isn't entirely her own." As she spoke, the garden around them began to transform. The pulsing flowers intensified their glow, shifting from soft pastels to brilliant jewel tones. Fireflies emerged from the willows, but these were unlike any natural insects. They left trails of stardust, weaving patterns in the air that formed shapes, hearts, intertwined hands, two figures walking side by side. Dante cupped her face gently, his thumbs brushing away the tears that had begun to fall. "Yuki, look at me. Really look at me." He waited until her gaze steadied on his. "I didn't fall in love with a simple fox girl. I fell in love with you, your spirit, your heart, your endless capacity for wonder. If protecting sacred places is part of who you are, then I want to be part of that too." "You mean it?" Her voice was so small, so hopeful. Instead of answering with words, Dante leaned down and kissed her softly. The moment their lips met, the garden erupted in celebration. Petals lifted from the flowers, swirling around them in spirals of silver and gold. The ancient blessing the petals formed a gentle tornado of color, cocooning them in warmth and light as their kiss deepened. Yuki's hands slid up to tangle in Dante's dark hair, and she pressed herself closer, pouring months of hidden fear and relief into this moment of connection. When they finally parted, both breathing heavily, the petals settled around their feet like a blessing. "There's more," Yuki said, taking his hand and leading him deeper into the garden. Her confidence had returned, her tails held high and graceful. They walked until they reached a crystalline pool at the garden's heart, its surface so still it perfectly mirrored the emerging stars above, but as they knelt beside it, the reflection shifted. Instead of showing their faces, it displayed scenes from the past. Fox spirit women walking hand in hand with human partners, tending to gardens, forests, and springs. Each couple radiated the same love Dante felt flowing between himself and Yuki. "They all found love," Yuki breathed in wonder. "Every guardian in my line married for true love, not duty. I thought I was the first, that I'd broken some unspoken rule by choosing my heart over my heritage." Dante watched the visions, seeing the joy in each guardian's face. "They didn't have to choose, Yuki. Neither do you. Love and purpose aren't opposites, they're partners." She turned to him with such adoration that his breath caught. "I was so afraid you'd feel trapped, that you'd think I tricked you into a life of obligation." "The only thing I feel," he said, pulling her into his lap as they sat beside the pool, "is grateful. Grateful that you trusted me enough to finally share this. Grateful that I get to walk beside you, whether it's through our village or through magical gardens." He nuzzled her neck, feeling her purr of contentment rumble through her chest. "I love every part of you, including the parts you were afraid to show me." Yuki twisted to face him, straddling his lap, her tails wrapping around them both. "I love you so much it frightens me sometimes." Forever transformed. Their foreheads touched as Dante's hands traced soothing patterns along her spine. "Then let's be frightened together," he murmured before capturing her lips again. This kiss was different, deeper, more passionate, a promise of forever. Yuki's fingers traced the line of his jaw, memorizing every detail as if seeing him anew. The crystalline pool began to glow beneath them, and they pulled apart to watch as the water rose in impossible defiance of gravity, forming a shimmering arch above their heads. Within the arch, symbols appeared, ancient characters that neither could read but both somehow understood. A voice seemed to emanate from the garden itself, gentle as a mother's lullaby. "Two souls, bound by choice and truth. Guardian and beloved, your union strengthens what was fading. Walk together, and the forgotten places shall remember. Love together, and magic shall endure." Warmth flooded through them both. Yuki gasped as her three tails began to glow with silvery light, each hair shimmering like spun moonbeams. Dante felt something shift in his own chest, not quite magic like Yuki's, but an awareness, a sensitivity to the sacred places she protected. He would be able to feel them now, to help her find and tend them. "We're bound," Yuki whispered in awe. "Not just as husband and wife, but as partners in this calling." "Is that what you want?" Dante asked, always giving her the choice. Her smile was radiant. "It's everything I want. You're everything I want." They stayed in the garden until the moon rose full and bright, talking about the future, about the places they might discover together. When they finally stood to leave, hand in hand, the path home was illuminated by those same ethereal fireflies, guiding them back to their cottage. As they walked, Yuki leaned her head on Dante's shoulder. "Our evening walks just became much more interesting." He laughed, kissing the top of her head between her soft ears. "I wouldn't have it any other way." From that night forward, their sunset strolls carried new purpose. But the magic they discovered wasn't just in the sacred gardens they would go on to restore, it was in the quiet moments between, the stolen kisses under ancient trees, the way their hands fit together perfectly, the certainty that they had found in each other not just love, but home. Lessons from the Garden of Truth. Love deepens when we shed our masks and share our hidden selves, trusting our beloved with every secret corner of our hearts. True partnership means embracing not just who someone is, but who they're meant to become, walking beside them through both ordinary days and extraordinary destinies. The magic we create together, built on acceptance, devotion, and unwavering support, is more powerful than any spell, capable of transforming not just ourselves but the world around us.